Hello, we are Phoenix Food Action, and we'd like to say welcome to the members of the local food community of Phoenix here today. The city of Phoenix is growing rapidly, and as we attempt to move forward as a hub for future living, ingenuity, and sustainability, it becomes evident that food is a significant factor. We, the local food community, producers, farmers, need to ask a focal question. What is the future of the local food market of Phoenix, Arizona in the next 25 years? Community engagement and government funding will have heavy influences on its success. Success for local food markets, success for local food producers. In exploring this focal question, we used the following futures thinking and strategies to research the local food markets and their producers. Scenario planning is meaningful because it allows for information gathered about the past and present to be used to create alternate stories about the future. From those stories about the future, strategies for the next steps to be made about the present can be determined to better prepare for the future and make us more adaptable to the future as well. Because this is more of an informal process, it allows for stakeholder engagement that reaches further insights on risks, opportunities, and uncertainties that might not have been considered otherwise. And, due to its open, multi-narrative nature, it accounts for trends and deviations and favorable and undesirable futures to equip for stronger positive outcomes and helps to dispel potential negative ones. We found 8 key trends that are important to our focal question and client. The first trend is the number of food deserts. A food desert can be found in low-income urban areas. People who live in this area rely on fast food and convenience markets. This trend is important to our clients since new markets could be built in these areas to grow our clients' markets. Risks associated with this trend include trying to change people's perception about eating habits and local food. Our second trend is government funding for farmers markets and local food. This trend looks at the future of government funding for programs like the Farmers Market Promotion Program and the Local Food Promotion Program. This is important to our client because more resources and locations can be created. This will also increase the awareness in the community. A risk associated with this trend is the willingness for consumers to pay the prices for local food. The third trend is the number of farmers markets in the Phoenix area. This trend looks at how many farmers markets are available for our client to sell their food at. This is key for our farmers' future business development. One risk surrounding this trend relates to education and awareness of the accessibility of the markets. Our remaining trends are number of local farms, presence of community action groups, community development, number of community gardens, and finally, obesity in the United States. Examining these trends will be important to understand the future of local food and how our client, the farmer, can build their business. During this part of our analysis, we interviewed 8 people who play an active role in local food on a daily basis. We interviewed students of the School of Sustainability at Arizona State University, representatives of farmers markets and community gardens, and a member of the Tempe Community Action Agency. Throughout all of the interviews, we noticed 3 main themes: positive trends, negative trends, and future hopes. Many of the people that we talked to discussed how they saw an increase in the number of people who want to learn more about local food, healthy eating habits, and where their food came from. They also noticed more negative trends like how it is difficult to have local food on a larger scale, the price of local food is still expensive, and the local food of farmers markets are not always accessible. Although aware of the challenges ahead for local food, people were generally optimistic, wanting local food to continue to grow through accessibility. In order to properly assess the current state of the local food movement in Phoenix, we had to develop drivers that would indicate how well the market is doing. We focused in on 2 of those drivers, government funding and community engagement, because they are vital in helping to fuel the movement. For government funding, the involvement and financial backing from the government plays a significant role in how successful the local food movement is. Local farmers and participants in farmers markets cannot thrive solely on their own funds, so the investment from the government provides an avenue for programs like farmers markets and local farms to get on their feet and flourish. Our second indicator, community engagement, also plays a significant role in the form of monetary and social support in order for local food production to increase. As community engagement increases, the prevalence and outreach of local food through farmers markets and other local sources can increase as well. This is because the individuals not only establish a social connection to these kinds of places, foster local food growth, like in local gardens or markets, but they also vote with their fork by choosing to support local farmers over industrialized mainstream big ag-produced food. To elaborate on how these two essential drivers can affect the local food movement, we put together 4 scenarios that elaborate on exactly what would occur at each level of engagement from the drivers. On our axes, we have 2 drivers, community engagement and government funding, and for each of those drivers, there is a category for high or low involvement. This combination is what eventually forms our 4 scenarios shown in the boxes within the matrix. Scenario 1 encompasses both high government funding and community engagement. Scenario 2 demonstrates high government funding and low community engagement. Scenario 3 explores low government funding and high community engagement. And Scenario 4 covers both low government funding and community engagement. The scenarios we present are an informed outlook of what the future of the local food movement in Phoenix might be like if both factors present were affected in disparate ways. For Scenario 1, we predict that the combination of high government funding and high community engagement is key to the success of sustaining local food in Phoenix. This scenario will lead to strong community development and an increase in awareness of the benefits of eating local food. The movement will flourish because of the high involvement of both vital drivers. For Scenario 2, we envision that high government funding compiled with low community engagement concerning local food in Phoenix will result in the presence of underused local food suppliers such as farmers markets and local farms, and eventually lead to the collapse of the local food movement in Phoenix. Because community engagement was not present, many individuals were not informed that local food was even present within their community, and the government stopped subsidizing the movement because the effort seemed fruitless. For Scenario 3, local government funding coupled with high community engagement in local food markets in Phoenix created a battle of the wills, with tenacious community outreach, involvement, and action that built the premise for a strong, interconnected web of local food systems, resulting in renewed government interest and involvement, further sustaining local food markets and their relevance in the Phoenix area. Finally, for Scenario 4, we foresee that a lack of community engagement and government funding will eventually lead to the collapse of the local food movement, downturn in local economy, and the decline of the overall quality of life. The lack of engagement from both drivers in this scenario is what ultimately led to its downfall because of a severe community disinterest and an absence of necessary government funding. Our SWOT analysis of local farmers shed light on several key points. First, it's a small world. That is, all sectors of Tempe are interconnected and need to rely on each other for the local food market or any project to thrive. Farmers need funding and regulations from the government and volunteers and organizers from the community. Second, the future of local farmers in the local food market is very sensitive to outside factors. On one hand, the entire system can be boosted by opportunities like government involvement and high amounts of volunteering, while on the other hand, the market can be completely destroyed by lack of interest or the inability to pay for local food. Of course, this doesn't mean that the local farm is obsolete. Local farmers are at the heart of the issue, since no local food market could exist without local food. Especially important is their expertise in growing, since this knowledge can be used to grow food and teach others in the community. Finally, an important feature of most of our scenarios, both as opportunities and weaknesses, were social attitudes and norms. These are also key to the future of local farmers. If people truly believe in the value of local food, farmers could more easily sell crops. From this, there are 4 main things that local farmers should do and watch for. First, farmers need to engage with locals more. Currently, a low percentage of the population actively seeks local food. It also goes without saying that farmers should apply for grants that are currently offered by the federal government to supplement their costs. Next, there needs to be more cooperation between local farmers, government, and the community. This can be achieved through joint meetings or committees for local food. Finally, it is important to keep in mind social norms. Local farms need to convince people in Tempe of the importance of local food. This will make them more willing to pay for and get involved with local food. Thank you.